Hello, welcome to the plot, Malaysia. This is our 55th episode. This is the show for the
By the
fans.
fans.
Woohoo! Wow, we have a very special episode on the cards today. We welcome back the legend Shebby
Sing.
Singh. Woo! Welcome, Shebby.
Shabby, welcome back. Welcome back. We told you,
Thank
we
you,
told you,
guys.
we told you it wouldn't be that long.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed my first episode with you guys, and I'm looking forward to this one.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So are we. So are we. We are really looking forward to it as well. And today, guys, we have an episode where, of course, Hari, why don't you tell us, what are we going to do today?
What we have in store is, guys, we're carrying on our Euro coverage. So, as you know, we've been covering the Euros extensively. We've been doing a daily review of the night's matches, of the prior night's matches as well, and also doing some preview and predictions of upcoming matches. So, we told you we had something special in store for you for the quarterfinals, and this is it. We've got the legend himself back to preview the games in the quarterfinals and to give us his predictions. So, Shebby, are you ready to put your neck on the line?
Well, actually, my neck has already been chopped off. My pre-tournament favorites, France, the world champions, we're out. So it's okay. I might grow another neck. You never know.
You were not
That's a
the
good
only
one.
one. You were not the only one. I tell you, a lot of necks would have been off after
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
Awesome. So before we actually get into the quarterfinals itself, Shabby, I think we've got to quickly do. I mean, we haven't had you on the show since the Euro started. Just want to do a quick review of the round of 16. It was classic. It was probably, in my opinion, at least, watching tournaments since '94, major tournaments. We had some of the best footballing nights during the round of 16, which I actually haven't experienced in some of the other
Absolutely.
major tournaments. So just want to get your thoughts on that. Maybe just quickly start off with what you thought was the best match of the round of 16 and what were some of the biggest shocks?
Oh well, I mean, in terms of shocks, we've already seen the group of death. Eventually everybody died.
Yes.
Which was interesting. I thought some of the matches were really high octane. I mean, the group stages, and then when it came to the round of 16, you could see, the Portuguese, the French, the Germans, they were found wanting, and I think, if we look deeply into that, it was simply a case of the Portuguese just running out of ideas. I thought, against Belgium, they had the Belgians on the ropes, especially in the second half, late in the second half. Ruben Diaz, that header straight at Courtois, and then it was Rafa Guerreiro hitting the post. I mean, these are the margins that we're looking at, but they set on Belgium for long periods. And as far as the Germans were concerned, I think, the big problem in German football has always been hierarchy. So and so must start, so and so will be the first sub, so and so will be the second sub. I mean, once Thomas Muller misses that sitter, you've got to take him off. It's not just because he misses the sitter, because the game is crying out for fresh legs. You've got 5 substitutions. And this is where the Czech Republic, Ukraine, they've been very clever with their substitutions. They make use of their substitutions really well, which means that they don't drop the tempo. The tempo of the game doesn't drop. The intensity doesn't drop. I mean, going back to the group of death, what really killed France, Portugal, and Germany was the Hungarians. The Magyars just ran these people into the ground. When they came out into the round of 16, they had basically nothing left. And for France, I mean, Didier Deschamps, just because you have one injury, right? You have one problem in the left back position, he changes the whole system.
Shape of the squad.
It's shocking. It was really shocking because you are looking for a left back because Luca Dean, cannot play. It's so easy. Just play Kimpembe on the left, because Kimpembe has played left back, for
Paris Saint-Germain.
PSG. And you can bring Longley in, or if you if you think that you are, you don't want to do that, you can bring Leo Dubois at right back, play Pavard next to Varane as a central defender, because Pavard is a central defender.
Yep.
And you have Kimpembe on the left. No, he just screwed up the whole system, playing with 3 at the back. Adrien Rabiot, he's never going to be a defensive player. When Juventus were in desperate need of a left fullback because of injury to Alexandro, or Sandro was suspended, they never used Rabiot. They used Bernardeschi. It was like, you are making silly, simple mistakes, which means that, you are not thinking. And at the end of the day, no surprise. So I would say Didier Deschamps actually caused France to suffer and to get knocked out. I thought England, I still have a feeling that we have yet to see the best of England. I think they can offer a little bit more.
I agree.
The Dutch, well, it was always that red card. That red card was going to be their downfall. And you play against 11 for a longer period. And we look at that. It was the Czech Republic. And mind you, they may not have the superstars, but and this is what I've been noticing. The team that doesn't have superstars, the teams do not have superstars, have been very, very consistent. And the teams that have the stars,
yes,
you are always on running a risk, because your star man might not turn up on that day, or your coach hasn't got the cojones to make the changes, like Yogi Löw, So for me, it's been very interesting just studying that. At the end of the day, football is about back to the basics. You have 2 players for every position. Competing for that position, you have to have a squad rotation. And for me, that has been interesting. So I would say, you look at Denmark. Denmark had the easiest of the round of 16. Let's be honest. It's only Wales, So, and it was interesting to see the Spaniards, they had the game in their hands, Croatia come back to 3-3. They have to go into extra time. So in terms of pure excitement, I would say, this has been one of the best Euros.
Do you think in terms of best match of the round of 16, Shebby, if you had to pick one match that kept you at the edge of your seat, which one would that be?
I've got to go with Croatia, Spain, really. Because I thought, game over. I'm going to go to bed. And suddenly, the Croatians, come to life. They make some changes. They come to life, and they've dragged themselves back into the game. Because they looked pretty lost. But credit to Spain, they had another gear. They went up that gear and they won that game. So because it was like crazy, these Croatians are has-beens, they're not going to go anywhere. But when you make the substitutions, Mario Pasalic coming on, Orsic coming on,
I thought Orsic was brilliant.
Orsic was amazing.
He is very, very quick. And Mario Pasalic, I watch a lot of Serie A and Atalanta Bergamo. Maybe in the next few days you might see an article somewhere about how the boys from Bergamo have performed. So these boys are really, really good. And at the end of the day, the hunger and desire that they showed as individuals helped the team. So for me, Croatia, Spain, I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Okay.
That was your best game that you pick out of the round of 16, right?
For me personally,
What about the most shocking game? What about the most shocking game for you?
France, Switzerland.
Well, that was because of Didier Deschamps. They should have been home and dry if he hadn't messed up completely. You totally change. You disrupt your own team. No, you want to keep the team as steady as possible. Just one position, doesn't mean that you have to do a total shake-up. And the other thing was Mbappe. I thought, son, play for the team. Don't play for yourself.
Absolutely. It was very disappointing, though.
Yeah, and exactly what I saw for Belgium as well. I thought Lukaku, he's talking too much.
Yeah.
You know, he wants to do everything on his own. He's so desperate, you know, for people to say he's world class.
World class,
No,
yep.
I've
yep,
said
yep.
he's never going to be world class, you know. And I hope that doesn't cause the rift in that team, because he had a go at Dries Mertens. He wanted the ball to feed. Mertens played it over him, and then he's gone yapping away at Dries Mertens.
Yeah.
No, you don't need that, you know. So yeah. So no, little things that could could affect teams in the quarterfinals.
Very interesting. You mentioned a couple of interesting things there, Shebby. I mean, for me, one was one of the things I got out of the tournament so far was the fact that I think you mentioned the group of death, all of them exiting the tournament. Do you think there was an element of tiredness that came out of that for all these top teams, because they had to play at high octane and high intensity for all three matches, whereas in some of the other groups they had an easy final game, they were already through. These guys had to play at the maximum for all three games. It took it out of them going into the round of 16.
Yes, indeed. I mean, you look at that group, you know, and Portugal, France, and Germany, right? They would have thought, okay, you know, that game against Hungary is the one where we can rest players, you know, we can rest our key players, you know, it won't be that difficult. But the Hungarians killed everyone. They killed everyone. They didn't allow, you know, for France, Portugal, or Germany to be able to rest or rotate, you know, per se. So yes, so it was the group of death, but the winners really in that group were Hungary.
Yes.
You know, because they took three big teams down with them. I mean, you saw those three teams in the quarterfinals, you know, they didn't have much to offer.
Shebby, I want to ask you this.
So the Magyars, I mean, the Hungarians are known as the Magyars. They are they killed everybody.
Everyone.
No, I wanted to ask you this because I'm an England fan, right? So I was very happy that, of course, England won. But what do you think if the Hungarians were the ones who faced England instead? Do you think the Hungarians would have kicked England out as well at that point?
I mean, they would have. They would have. You know, Hungary. What was it? They had a 2-2 draw with Portugal.
Yeah.
The 2-2 with Germany, they lost
3-2 with Germany. They lost 3-0 to Portugal, and that was like in the last 10 minutes, right? So they had a draw with France, they had a draw with Germany. They would have knocked England out. They would have knocked England out.
Shebby, the other thing we've been talking about as well, me and Ram in our daily reviews, what we have noticed is, we want to get your thoughts on this, but a lot of the teams, it seems like a tournament of who dares wins. There have been teams that have played very conservatively through their manager, for example, even though they've had the squad to actually go out and express themselves and dominate games. And those teams are the ones that have fallen by the wayside. Example being Portugal. I thought Fernando Santos was extremely conservative with the kind of attacking talent he has. It was only until the end when he had to, then he threw on these attacking players. João Felix never got a sniff basically until the last few minutes. I thought Deschamps was the same in the group stages.
Yeah, you remember I said hierarchy in football, you know, is always the downfall of coaches because they're afraid, you know, they're afraid, Fernando Santos would never have taken Cristiano Ronaldo off. Doesn't matter even if, you know, they had one of the best number 9s in Andre Silva.
Never got a run in.
No. So this is what damages reputations. You've got to make the big decisions, you know. You've got to be able to tell your star player that, you know, we're going to need a bit of a break, you know, because you are only half of what we need. And for that matter, you know, Mbappe was not at his best, you know, but Griezmann gets taken off, you know. Karim Benzema ran himself into the ground, you know. Yogi Löw, you know, at what minute does he bring a Serge Gnabry and Leroy
very late
on?
into the game.
Very late in the game.
So this is the problem, you know, and this is a big problem for coaches. Coaches are very loyal. Coaches are afraid of star players. But in football, that word hierarchy on the pitch should never exist.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I mean, I was shocked personally when I saw the Germans, of course, the Portuguese, the French, you know, all go out, you know, in similar fashion. Where
another one is Netherlands. We can't leave the Netherlands out.
Netherlands,
well. Frank de Boer. Frank de Boer, I think, shot himself in the foot multiple times.
I thought Frank de Boer did significantly okay until the last game. You know?
Yeah, the sending off, did play a big part. It was that part of the tournament. You've just come out of 3 group games, and you go a man shot. Was it around the 52nd or 53rd minute? And you're playing against a team, and this is what football has become. Football has become a very team-oriented game, not individuals. You used to have strong teams with 1 or 2 outstanding individuals, but this tournament has shown that it's all about organization. It's about being fit. It's quite robotic. I mean, it had its exciting moments, but when you look at the magic has been missing. You take away Patrick Schick's goal from the halfway line, it's not much to talk about. Kai Havertz plays Timo Werner through. Werner cannot score against Pickford. Kai Havertz plays that through ball for Thomas Muller. Thomas Muller doesn't score, which means that these moments will be forgotten. But these are the essence of the game, the moments of beauty. But sadly, we don't see too much of that in this competition.
So Muller's goal drought continues in the Euros, I guess.
He's never scored in the Euros, Shebby. Interesting stat. He's got, I think, 10 goals in the World Cups, but he's got 0 goals in Euros, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it's true. And the fact that, they had Serge Gnabry, who is technically a winger, playing as a striker until they played England, and then they had Timo Werner start. Werner at his best is a super sub. He will come on when people are tired. With his pace, he has more time on the ball. You can, but surprise. I mean, the Germans do not have a striker or any striker of note to speak of.
Very interesting.
I think very quickly before we go to the quarterfinal, I think there are teams that have stood out. I mean, as you rightly said, Shebby, teams that have stood out are actually teams that have been won. They've worked as a team. No star players. Teams like Switzerland, Denmark, I think have stood out. The Czechs have stood out, and also, and I think also driven by their managers who have been very daring, who have played the game, played as a unit, made the right substitutions, but also gone for the games, gone to attack teams basically.
You're right there, Harry. Because the manager or the coach is the boss. He is the boss. Everybody does what he says. So this is very important. They believe in the coach. But if you have the French, the Portuguese, the Germans, for example, who believe that their players are the players believe they're better than their coaches, because they are world stars, and this is what happens. You fall flat on your face. I mean, we saw Germany in 2018, and unfortunately, this is the kind of problems that you have to be very careful. And you're right. I mean, the Danes, the Czech Republic, Ukraine, they respect their coaches. They respect their coaches, and they go out there and they are playing, for their country, not
as
playing
a unit.
for
As
themselves.
a unit, yep.
Yes, exactly.
Operating as a unit. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So I think all these big teams like England, they should be fearful of teams like Ukraine. In the next matches, it's not about Ukraine fearful of facing England. England should be fearful of facing Ukraine because of how they play. Beautiful triangular passes. Great football, nice to watch. So definitely, I'll be hoping for England to really take it up a notch. But I have a very strong feeling Gareth won't be that daring, Shebby. I don't think so.
It's now or never for England.
It's now or never.
They play Ukraine, and then they beat Ukraine. They go up against Czech Republic or
Denmark. It's either Czech Republic or Denmark.
Right. In the semifinals, and that's at home. They probably might play Italy in the final. So this is this is perfectly set up for England. So
hold your predictions in there for a bit. Hold it. Before we get to that, guys. So before we move on to the quarterfinals now, we want you, Shebby, to share with us your team, your dream team of the quarterfinals.
Well, these are the players who have impressed me the most, and I've decided to go with the teams that are in the quarterfinals. Jordan Pickford, I was struggling between him and Vaclik of Czech Republic, because that is like one unsung hero there. But I think Jordan Pickford has, because the English will always concede a chance or two to their opponents, but Pickford has been big. I mean, that save from Timo Werner, If that goes in, 1-0 Germany, it can turn. So Pickford, simply because I think he's made the bigger saves, the important saves. I think John
Stones... Agree with a 4-3-3, right? 4-3-3, I think.
Yeah, I'll go with a 4-3-3, but a little bit of a flexible. My two centre-backs, and this is a pure coincidence. John Stones, for me, has been star man, but he's never going to get the headlines, which is good for him. I think he's been steady, he's been calm, he's been composed. And the Spanish, with their French centre-back, Aymeric Laporte, I think Laporte has been outstanding because he's partnered a 20-year-old Eric Garcia, or he's been with Paul Torres, but he has been calm, composed. It's never easy playing in that position, because you look at the legends, Carlos Puyol, Sergio Ramos, Gerard Piqué, the players that you are replacing, and that was the big doubt, whether they could replace these centre-backs, but Laporte has been outstanding. So no coincidence, like I said, just happens to be a Man City pairing there.
Yep.
So Pep Guardiola thought Laporte really well. Right back, Vladimir Sufal, Czech Republic.
No doubt.
Oh, he's been amazing.
What? You talk about no nonsense, you talk about making that 60, 70-yard burst, upfield. He has been steady, consistent, solid. Nobody goes past him. Nothing goes past him as well. And you need a fullback like that. Now, on the left, it's Torgan Hazard. He's played as a left wing back for Belgium, and he's done really well. And I'm going to play him on that left side because I think he gives you a lot. I think he's been star man. One of the stars in the Belgian team.
Agree. Yep.
Better than his brother for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. My 3-man midfield, I have Granit Xhaka sitting as the holding midfielder.
Because he's been outstanding.
He's there's no bad headlines. For him, for Switzerland, he'll give his life, and he's been a true leader. De Bruyne, I think, has been outstanding. He's the one who they're going to miss. Belgium are going to miss him because they're half a team without him. And Pedri. I mean, that
Pedri.
kid,
18
years
old.
He's played with so much maturity. It's unbelievable. When to raise the tempo, when to keep possession. Sometimes, he's even talking to Busquets to calm down. And his eye for a pass, and he didn't score that own goal. It was Unai Simon.
We all had that doubt.
I was telling Ram, I think he's the second coming of Andre Iniesta. He's just got that much guile about him.
Yes, he's going to run that midfield one day. He's already bossing it in a way, but he's being star man. My 3-man attack, Andrei Yarmolenko. I think, he's very underrated. He doesn't get the good headlines as he should. He's awkward to play against. He's got good vision, and 2 assists, 2 goals already. Which speaks for itself. Matteo Pessina. He's come on as a sub for Italy. He scored 2 goals, important goals. He scored that one, the winner against Wales. Now this fellow is very underrated, but every time he comes on, he gives you that extra from inside left of midfield. So for me, Pessina up front, Patrick Schick.
No doubt about that one.
Patrick Schick, he was at Roma. The problem was Edin Dzeko was starting ahead of him. But Schick didn't mess about. He went off. He went off on loan to Roma. Then he ended up, he went off on loan to RB Leipzig. Then he ended up at Leverkusen. People look at him and say, he's not strong. He doesn't hold the ball up. But he's a poacher. He's a goal poacher. Look at him. He just goes into positions. He's got one of the best light touches I've seen. Look at him when he lays the ball off for his teammates or he receives the ball. So for me, he has been outside. So that is my 11. Okay, before the Danes get upset with me,
I was just going to ask you.
Joachim Mæhle, another boy from Bergamo, from Atalanta.
Atalanta, yep.
He has been outstanding. He has been, unbelievable. But I thought, I could play him instead of Torgan Hazard, but I have a freedom to choose. So, and yes, Damsgaard.
Yep. Damsgaard, yeah.
Damsgaard
Yes.
has been super because it was Claudio Ranieri at Sampdoria who gave him his break, and Ranieri plays him every game with Sampdoria. And that kid, is going to be a superstar one day. He's already getting there. He is going to be a superstar. So there you have it. I've got two Danes who could have sneaked into that team.
Okay,
Wow.
Shebby, that's a
Very strong
brilliant team. Very, very strong team. But let me challenge you a little bit on it. I think that's where the fun is on it. So I've got a couple of questions. So I think Pickford is a no-brainer because I think he's kept the clean sheets. He's made some decisive saves for the English. But Soufal, I agree with you. Stones, Laporte. Now this is where it got a bit interesting. No space for one of the stalwart Italians, Bonucci, Chiellini, or maybe even Simon Kjaer. Maybe Simon Kjaer or Andres Christensen.
No, I mean I love Bonucci and Chiellini, but Chiellini has been out injured. Bonucci, has been as good as he is. So he is so good that it's like he's good. But Stones is playing, better than he has, Yeah. So this is the problem with me. It's not a problem with Bonucci. With me, it's like Bonucci is doing what he does best. Stones is playing better than he has, and playing in the middle of the back three as the sweeper, I think suits him really well, because of his composure on the ball. And, I think 12 months ago, we would have doubted if Stones would start for England. But the progress that he has made in his career, so that's why I pick him.
Fair enough.
I have a question though. I have a
go
question for the midfield though, because I was like wondering, Locatelli, not there. Is there any reason to pick Locatelli in?
Locatelli. If I had picked Locatelli, I would have to drop either De Bruyne or Pedri. But why I pick Pessina? No, Pessina is purely personal, because it was on the 10th of May, I had an article in 2213, where I said, talk about entertainers. And I said, Atalanta Bergamo had entertained me the most, and I followed the progress of their players, So I'm being very biased here. Matteo Pessina gets in ahead of Locatelli.
Okay, fair enough. The other one I had, which is very interesting, was at left back. So at left back, you've gone for Torgan Hazard, which he's had a good tournament at left wing. But I don't know if you know where I'm going with this, Shebby, but Spinazzola.
Oh my goodness! Spinazzola.
I think
Did that ever come into the thinking?
I think he's okay. I think nobody's exploited him yet.
Yep.
I think he's better going forward than he is defensively. So no, not in my book. Spinazzola. I think he's done really well for Italy. But I mean, if I picked Spinazzola, I would have to pick Luke Shaw ahead of him. I would have picked Robin Gosens has gone home, unfortunately. But it was a tough decision. But like I said, Spinazzola, I think Shaw has been better than him. Luke Shaw, honestly. Yep.
But I'm very glad, Shebby, you didn't pick Maguire. Well done.
No, I mean, no disrespect, but I do not understand the hype. I've never understood the hype of Harry Maguire.
He took home man of the match. He took home man of the match.
I don't know. I don't know how people pick him as the man of the match. He had 2 headers on goal. He was totally unmarked. From 2 headers, he should have scored at least 1. He didn't. And this is. It's good. Let him, let him be in the limelight because Stones is the steady one at the back. It's not easy when you are playing, in between Maguire and Walker. Kyle Walker can lose his head anytime, lose his discipline. So Stones is playing a major role. He is the one who's holding that defense together. To be honest.
Fair enough. Another couple of names I'll just throw out there, Shebby. One in central defense, because they really impressed me in the second round, actually throughout the tournament. Second round specifically, Manuel Akanji or Elvedi from Switzerland, who played centre back. And also Zuber, who played left back, who I thought has had an awesome tournament.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
Zubo was
Steven
awesome. Yeah,
Zuber
yeah,
has
yeah.
been, he is good. He's steady, and I think he's got 4 assists already.
Yep.
Akanji, I've seen him a lot for Borussia Dortmund. Who's the other one?
Elvedi.
Nico
Elvedi.
Elvedi for Borussia Mönchengladbach.
Yep.
He is steady. And I mean, to be fair, Harry, they are playing better than they have been in the Bundesliga. So they have raised their game. They have, but like I said, I see them almost every week. I've been seeing them for almost every week for the last 3-4 seasons. So yeah, they are good.
Sticking with your choices. Sticking with your choices.
They are
Sticking
good.
with your choices.
They are good, in what they're doing.
Yep.
But Laporte, simply because you don't want to be a centre back trying to emulate PK,
Carlos
Ramos,
Puyol.
Puyol. That is not easy. But he stood his ground. He's been calm, composed. His left foot, good passing out. So that's why.
Awesome.
And this is the problem. If I know what the players are capable of, it's difficult for me to say, oh.
Okay. Awesome, Shebby. I mean, it's a great team. It's a great team. It's very difficult to pick one, I think. But you've got a really, really good team.
I have a very interesting question right now to ask you, Shebby, because we're going into, of course, the predictions of the quarterfinals.
Yep.
So we definitely want to pick your brain in terms of who do you think will go through to the semifinals, and of course, what are your predictions for that as well? So, Hari, shall we start with which game should we start with?
Let's start with the big one. The big one. So actually, let's start with the first game tonight, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think Belgium, Italy,
Spain and Switzerland.
Game. Spain, Switzerland.
Yep.
Let's start with Switzerland, Spain tonight, Shebby.
Yeah, I get the feeling, that we've seen the best of Switzerland.
Yep.
You have one game, which you call your final in a tournament like this, and I think the Swiss have done that. I think the Swiss have been very, very good, but I think they've hit the ceiling now. I don't think they can be better than what they did against the French.
Yep.
So I'm going to pick. I'm going to go with Spain because there has been squad rotation. There has been variety. When Luis Enrique needs space, he brings on Ferran Torres. Marcos Llorente started at right back.
Sarabia has had a good tournament.
Sarabia is a good. Moreno is playing out of position, but so there's plenty about the Spanish. More to come from the Spanish. So I'm going to go with Spain going into the semifinals.
Can we get a score prediction from you, Shebby?
Score prediction?
I think it will be 90 minutes. I'm going to go with 2-0 Spain.
Okay,
2-0
awesome.
Spain. I'm going with Switzerland because I like to challenge the odds. And I'm going with Switzerland because I think with Xhaka with his goal hair, I think he can perform.
Actually, I've been very impressed with Switzerland. Sorry, I've been very, very impressed with Switzerland, and I was going to go for Switzerland, but I just found out today Granit Xhaka is suspended for the match tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's a big, I think that's a big blow.
Yeah, I think they played their final against France already. I think they gave their all against France. So it is going to be difficult. But for Spain, like I said, they have a bit more about them.
Okay.
Spot on, Shebby, about Spain. To think about the fact that even though they've rotated that much, they've barely played Thiago Alcantara, who's probably one of their best passes of the ball in midfield. And Adama Traore barely gets a minute for them. Again, very explosive winger. So
Adama Traore looks to be, yeah.
Yeah, but only problem with Adama Traore is that he doesn't have the touch of a Spaniard. He lacks that finesse on the ball. He is fast. I mean, look, if the game goes into extra time, you are chasing the game, you bring him on, just play that forward ball for him to chase, to run, But the Spanish, he is not a technical player like the Spanish, So this is the only concern. I mean, no doubt he's raw power, raw pace, slightly better touch than Lukaku, I would say. But if you were chasing the game, you want somebody who is powerful and fast, you would bring him on.
I think great against tired legs, isn't it? Possibly brilliant against tired legs.
Exactly. Yeah, but in that passing and the technical game of the Spaniards with their build-up and all, he does look a bit out of sorts.
But very quickly, before we go to the second game, the big one, Shebby, have you been surprised with the lack of minutes that Thiago Alcantara gets for Spain?
He's asking you because he's a Liverpool fan. Harry.
Yeah, big Liverpool fan.
That's the reason why.
Yeah, but this is the problem now. Do you throw your head on one playmaker and play through him? Or do you say we have that midfield three? That combination. And we'll stick to it. So for the Spanish, that is important. The team is more important than the individuals.
Yep.
Yep. So that's why Alcantara doesn't start.
Yeah, and I think the Swiss are going to have a challenge of basically getting the ball off the Spaniards. I think France, the way they play, they do give you the ball as well. I think Spain just don't give you the ball. They starve you of the ball, which makes it difficult.
Yes, that's right. Which means more running. Running from Switzerland to try to win the ball. I think Haris Seferovic has been, he was diabolical early on, but he's got he's good in the air. He's got goals, but I don't think he can go to the next level. Which is needed now that you're in the quarterfinals.
Fair enough. Let's move on to the big second game, Shebby, which is Belgium-Italy. Very difficult to call this one. Everyone is saying 50-50 going into this one.
Well, it is, but I go back to the second half against Portugal. In the first place, I thought they sat too deep, because Alderweireld, Vertonghen, and Vermaelen. For me, Vermaelen was a dodgy choice because they have played Boyata or what's that guy with
Denayer, is it?
Jason Denayer.
Yep.
Because these boys are quick. Vertonghen and Alderweireld are not the quickest, so they have a sweeper. But when they played with Vermaelen, they all three very, very slow. They drop deeper and deeper and deeper, and I think they are going to struggle. I think the Italians have got variety. I mean, the last time out, they took off Barella, they took off Verratti, they brought on Pessina, they brought on Locatelli. So the Italians have that youth about them. I mean, they have got better legs, and if you don't have De Bruyne controlling the game, I mean, Tielemans, Witsel, they were overrun really by the Portuguese. Yeah. So I think the Italians can do damage to Belgium. So I'm going to go with Italy.
We get a score prediction again, Shebby.
I'm going to go extra time, the Italians 3-1.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with that, Shebby. I am also agreeing with you on that, Italians.
I won the Italians just like Ram. I think both of us are in agreement here. We won the Italians to go through purely because they have been entertainers this time around. I think Belgium have been playing a bit too defensively in some games, whereas the Italians
they've dropped, they dropped deep at times, too deep, like I said, against the Portuguese. I'm going to go with Italy. I want the Italians to go through.
Plus, I think Italy have an ace card on the bench. The rumors he might start today, but I'm a big fan of Federico Chiesa. I thought he made a big difference. Chiesa,
Chiesa is fast. He is the Italian Traore. His touch is not the best, but he is fast. He's very direct. And for me, he will make a good super sub. Coming on as a sub, I think has suited him. Starting, I don't think so, because I've seen him start many times from Andrea Pirlo, Juventus, and you go like, he makes the wrong decisions, he overruns the ball. His final pass is not the best. So I would keep him on the bench, but bring him on because, he brings enthusiasm to the game.
I think the Italians will play like how the Portuguese played against the Belgians, but they will have more finishing touches. They'll be more clinical in front of goal.
Yes.
They will definitely be going all over the place like how the Portuguese did, but just this time I think they'll be much more stronger.
You're right, Ram. I think, for Mancini, it's like, let's get at the Belgians, let's get at the Belgians. Yeah.
Whereas I think Fernando Santos sort of was a bit more conservative before he had to make the move in the second half.
Yeah.
I think the Italians will go for it from the first whistle, which I think will make a difference.
True.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Awesome. Now the second side of the bracket, which they claim is the easier part of the bracket, Shabby. Ukraine, England. Let's start with that one. People say everyone's chanting it's coming home. Do you think it's coming home?
It's coming home.
I said earlier, it's now or never.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's now or never. Yes, the Ukrainians are a very good side, but you look at teams and you think, can they get better than their last game? It took a lot out of the Ukrainians physically. They've got the individuals in Yarmolenko, in Yaremchuk, they've got the battlers as well.
Your boy from Atalanta, I think Malinovsky as well.
Yep.
Malinovsky, I think he plays for Atalanta, right? Ruslan Malinovsky, yes.
Ruslan Malinovsky. But once again, it's like with the Swiss, thinking like, they've played their best, can they get better? They need to go up another level. So that's why I mean, it's going to be a great game. Like I said, England will always give you a chance or two. If the Ukrainians can capitalize, we could have a hell of a game on our hands. But at this moment in time, I mean, Harry Kane just scored, and that was always going to be important. The first goal that he scored, because if he'd gone into the knockouts, not having scored, I mean, the pressure would have been too much. So I think, Harry Kane just started his competition, and I think that's why I'm going to pick England over Ukraine.
So what's your score for that? I'm just curious.
I think it's going to be 2-0 to England.
Quite comfortable.
2-0 to England. And England playing away from home, isn't it, this time?
This is the first time.
First match away from Wembley in Rome. Do you think that's going to make a difference?
So is that going to impact the game somehow, somewhat?
I think there'll be less pressure on them. Less pressure, playing away from home. Let's get away. They've been at home for so long, their entire group stages, and the round of 16 as well. So yeah, get away. I think it could do them well to get away and enjoy their football.
Okay, so according to Shebby, it is coming home, or at least for a while longer.
Well, now or never.
One other quick one, Shebby. This has been a debate in the English media. I know, a big debate in the English media as well. He came on to devastating effect again. Jack Grealish, should he start this game?
My favorite player, man.
Yeah, I think you always have your starting 11, and you always don't want to disrupt something that is good.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, Grealish comes on and takes the game to the next level. And that's what you want from your substitutes, to take them to the next level. So at this moment in time, don't disrupt what, if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Yep.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter. I mean, he comes on as a sub, he brings, different qualities as well. So don't, because if he starts, it's going to be about Jack Grealish. No, it's about the team. So you have players who sacrifice themselves for the team, but to have somebody like that come off the bench, I mean, Jadon Sancho has not even had a single minute. So no, I mean, I would keep Grealish on the bench.
So Shebby Singh advised to Gareth Southgate to not pull a Didier Deschamps.
Yeah, don't disrupt. Don't disrupt. What is working for you? Because it's been a long time since England have found themselves, where they've got about 13, 14 players good enough for the starting 11, and they've got the subs, who are good, who take England to the next level. So it's going really well, Don't overthink.
Yep, and they still haven't considered a goal. Woohoo!
Keeping it tight. I think the two defensive midfielders have given the defense a lot of protection. Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips. I think they've been immense, actually.
Yeah, when you have creative players in front of you, I mean, Saka, you have Sterling, you have Harry Kane, and then your wing backs are getting forward. So you need that stability, don't let people play through the middle. And that is always important. So you need that good defensive block in front of the defense.
Awesome. So Yorkshire Perlo it is. Final game of the quarterfinal, Shebby. It's the Czech Republic against Denmark. For me, again, another 50-50 tie. This one can go either way. how do you see this one playing out?
I mean, first of all, it is just amazing what Denmark has achieved without their best playmaker.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the emotional roller coaster they've had to go through. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. We go back to 1992. Off on holiday, they all come back. They're all happy, and then they win the tournament. Come into this one. There is adversity. And then they all come together again, and that is important. To be together as a group, to want to fight for each other. I mean, that has been, the team spirit has been fantastic. The Czech Republic, I mean, for me, they are the fighters. I thought the unluckiest team in the competition was Hungary, but the Czech Republic for me has been good. I mean, Souček is a very, very good central midfielder. He will never play for the top three clubs in England or Italy or in Spain. But I tell you what, you talk about reliable, you talk about somebody who's good at attacking and defending and organizing as well. He's had a great game. And Patrick Schick, like I said, he's wave fly, he's, people in Malaysia, you'd say lembik, but that's him. He's a poacher. Get him in and around the box and he'll score a goal for you. This is a difficult one, I just hope we don't go into penalties, because I think this could be a long. I think this could be a long haul, because I just get the feeling now that caution will set in.
Yep.
Round of 16, there was a lot of bravery, but caution will set in. I would love to see the Czechs go through, because I think on the balance, I think they've been more dynamic. So yeah, I'm going to go with Czech Republic.
Okay, just in extra time on penalties or in 90 minutes?
Extra time.
Extra time.
I think it'd be extra time. It'd be a 1-0
to the Czech Republic.
1-0 Czech Republic. I'm going for Denmark.
I think I'm backing them just because of what they've gone through, and I'm complete neutral in this tournament, so I've just got to back them. And I don't know, like you said, Shebby, I think they remind me a lot of that 92 side, and what they had to go through, and having just been lucky to get thrown into the tournament in 92. It just has that feeling, of another 92 or maybe a 2004 Greece, where they're going to upset the odds and win the tournament.
Yeah, they could. I mean, and that is why, I don't have any Dane in the best 11 that I've picked from the quarterfinalists, because they're a team.
Yep.
It's Damsgaard, Mailer, they have been fantastic, but it's that teamwork, which is always important, and not the most exciting to watch, but that's what you want, from a group of players who come together and are difficult to play against. But I would love to see the Czech Republic go through.
Awesome. Shebby, there's a question I wanted to ask you when you were showing us, when you were talking about your dream team. So I'm going to very quickly ask you this question. I totally forgot about it. You picked Patrick Schick as your number 9 in that dream team. You probably are going to have a Harry Kane-shaped hole in the Spurs lineup, and going into next season, it might happen. It might get sold. Would you take Patrick Schick as a replacement?
Well, why not? Because there are similarities in that, they're not big, strong, they're not aggressive strikers. They are goal scorers.
Yep.
So that would suit Patrick Schick if he's got the likes of Son and everybody around him. And Schick is pretty much. I think that's a great observation there. Very similar. They are very similar. Schick will score goals, although not as many as Harry Kane. But I think he would fit into that Spurs team.
Wow, absolutely. And of course, great news to Spurs with Nuno coming into Spurs.
So Nuno Espirito Santo, listen up to Shebby Singh here. You got to go. You got to go for Patrick Schick.
Yeah.
You get 150 million pounds from Kane. Patrick Schick comes in, and a couple of other players. Why not?
Why not?
Shebby, before.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I say it's a pity Diogo Jota, left Wolves.
Yeah.
I mean, him on one side, Son on the other, Harry Kane in the middle. That would have been unbelievable.
Don't touch any Liverpool players, Shebby. Very quickly, Shebby. Before we sort of end the episode, we've predicted the quarterfinals. We've got your predictions. We might not have you for the next rounds, for example, on the show again. So since we have you on the show, we want you to predict the finalists, the two finalists, and a winner as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is where it's fun, because it was fun until the French got knocked out. So I've got no pressure on me now.
Yep.
I would love to see. Okay, what I think will happen is we'll get the England v Italy final.
Wow.
England
Well
v
done, Shebby.
Italy.
I'm very happy to hear that.
I think the Italians will get past Belgium. I would love to see an England-Italy final. Italians winning on penalties.
Oh wow!
I just think that to annoy you guys.
You break my heart, Shebby.
Burying the ghost of Roberto Baggio.
No, England, Italy final. England to win. It's now or never for the English.
Okay, so you've gone for the English.
Yeah, because
yes.
don't forget, 4 years from now, European Championship, the French, the Germans, the Portuguese will not be in the same group.
Yep.
They will be much better.
Yep.
Harry Maguire is not going to get any better.
Yes, absolutely.
So you've been warned. Now or
Never.
Now or never.
All right. So
Yep.
it's coming home. It's definitely coming home, guys.
It's coming home.
It is, at
coming
least
home.
in my lifetime, I mean, well, I was only 6 years old in 1966, but since the Premier League and all the noise, I hope for England's sake that they actually win a major competition.
Yeah.
They-
I hope
they-
in
they-
my
yeah.
lifetime, for the first time, I'm able to see
They
that.
never stop
it's-
talking about it. That's the problem. Shebby.
Exactly. Ever since the Premier League started, they're going to win every World Cup. They're going to win every European Championship. And now I'm starting to feel sorry for them.
Yep.
It's like, please win something, for God's sake.
I mean, if they don't win it, they've got too much talent now.
It's
They should win
like
it.
they say, right? Put your money where the mouth is.
The
Put your
talent that
money
has
where the
grown
mouth
up,
is, yeah.
the talent that is in the team now, that has grown up now, they have been exposed to global football.
Yep.
They haven't been in a shell, No. So these boys, I mean, Jude Bellingham, Jadon Sancho, there's so much more to come, So there is a good generation that has grown up watching all the foreign players in the Premier League and watching, all the superstars of Serie A, of La Liga, of Bundesliga, So for me, I think, there's a good bunch of players in there.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Shebby, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show again, joining us on the show again, predicting
Thank you.
previewing the games as well, and having a chance to get to have a look at your dream team going into the quarterfinals as well. And yeah, like I said, we'll continue to try to have you on our shows in the future as well, because it's always valuable, and we learn a lot during these sessions.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed myself again. Harry, Ram, you guys stay safe, and see you soon.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Guys, drop a like to the video as well. Do subscribe to the channel. And Ram, hand it over to you.
Absolutely. And of course, we've come to the end of this episode, an amazing episode with our legend, Shebby Singh. If you want to continue to actually catch Shebby Singh in one of the talk shows, you can do so, because next week he is going to be joining Spurs 9501 all the way from the UK. So do catch him on talking all about Spurs if you are a Spurs fan. So from the Plot Malaysia, signing off from the Plot Malaysia, this is the show for the fans.
By the fans. It's coming home.
Coming home.
Cheers, Shebby.
All right.
Cheers, Shebby.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
care.